Hi, my name is Doireann Ní Ghríofa and I'd like to speak to you for a minute today about my new book, which is called A Ghost in the Throat, and it's just been published by Tramp Press. The reason I'm speaking to you from my car is because this is where a lot of this book was written. I used to drop my children to school in the morning and then drive to the roof of a local car park, would you believe, and that was where I began to write this book, so it felt appropriate to speak to you about this book from here where it was written. I suppose it's a story of obsession, really. I wrote it at a very busy time in my own life, and I had 4 children under 6, and things were strange sometimes and difficult sometimes and joyous other times, but it was always very, very busy. And throughout those days I took great comfort in something that always remained steady and steadfast, and that was the echo of a very old poem called Queen Art Ó Lira. It was composed by Eibhlín Dubh Ní Chonaill over 2 centuries ago, and the more I clung to that poem, the more curious I became about its author, Eibhlín Dubh, and I suppose I kind of went on a bit of a quest to try to find out more about her, because unfortunately there hasn't been that much research done on her own life, which seemed an awful pity to me. And I suppose that's something that'll be familiar throughout histories, is that sometimes female lives can be neglected or go untold. So that was the task I set myself, to find out more about Eibhlín Dubh Ní Chonaill. And the funny thing was that the more I found out about her, the more of an influence she began to have in my own life. So I suppose in some ways it's the story of how we came to haunt each other. I'd like to read you a little piece of it, if that's okay. And this is the story of one of the first times I ever encountered her poem as a child at school. When we first met, I was a child, and she had been dead for centuries. Look, I am 11, a girl who is terrible at sums and at sports, a girl given to staring out windows, a girl whose only real gift lies in daydreaming. The teacher snaps my name, startling me back to the flimsy prefab. Her voice makes it a fine day in 1773 and sets soldiers crouching in ambush. I add ditch water to drench their knees. Their muskets point towards a young man who is tumbling from his saddle now in slow, slow motion. A woman rides in to kneel over him, her voice rising in an antique formula of breath and syllable the teacher calls a queena, a traditional keen to lament the dead. This, we are told, is Eibhlín Dubh Ní Chonaill. Her voice generates an echo strong enough to reach a girl in the distance with dark hair and bitten nails. Me. That's it. I really hope you'll enjoy this book, and thanks for watching. Bye. Slán.